Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. Bear with me while I make sure this post goes out the way it needs to go. And I think we are live, which is always exciting. So going live off of my Zoom, coming on in here. So welcome, welcome. If you're watching this live, I'm so glad you're here. If you're catching this on the replay, that's fantastic too. I'm trying to see if it's showing up on Facebook here because I would like to share it to my Pressure Free Living page. If you don't know my Pressure Free Living page, it's right here on Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. You can come to my website and you can get a free e-zine from me every month. There's a little link where you can sign right in for that. You can also come to my website and you can sign in for a free consultation. I do a free pressure-free session with anyone who's interested in learning more about what this is all about. You know, on these short shows, I'm just giving you little glimmers of it. And yeah, it's live. So let me share this to my other page. I think that's important. How do I do that? Sorry. Um, well, I'm just not going to worry about it. I'll share it later. But I want to make sure my people who follow me on that page get this as well. We're going to dig in on the first step of pressure free today, and that's targets. Um, when I first started coaching, this method that I had created, I didn't even have this step to begin with. But what I realized is that when we can identify what's important to us, what we desire, what we really want, or what we don't want and need to have shift in our lives, then that is like the fuel that helps make the next two steps of the pressure free method easy. So we're going to focus just on step one, which is targets, which are goals, dreams, visions. So I think I have that written here. Do I have that written here? I guess not. Yeah, goals, dreams, visions. And you can identify your targets by asking yourself, like, what do you want or what don't you want? So I was reflecting and thinking about my folks today. My parents died in 2005. My dad was 72. My mom was only 68. This was her second round of breast cancer. That's how she died. And then my father, from his like late 30s, he had type 2 diabetes that he controlled with diet for a long time, no medication, just diet. But then he eventually had to get on insulin. And he also had heart disease. So he had high blood pressure and some issues with his heart. He died of his second heart attack. So the first one didn't take him. What a blessing. But the second one did. And it was just 3 months after my mom died. So people said, oh, he died of a broken heart. And you may have caught some articles these days about broken heart syndrome. Certainly, losing someone close to you is definitely a stressor, and 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 one of the most stressful things you can experience. And so my dad's friends would be like, "Yeah, he just died of a broken heart. He just wanted to be with mom." So those diseases, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, are all stress-induced diseases. When I take a look at what the stress hormones do to our bodies and how they cause your cells to actually and your heart, your organs to actually have so much inflammation and be dealing with so much fat and so many other things, like it's obvious to me what was going on, and I only wish I could go back in time and help them. But that when I think about some of my targets when I first was creating this, it's like I would love to live a nice to a nice age and without those three stress-induced diseases. So that's what I don't want. What do I want? I want to live a really beautifully healthy life. Um, how long that's going to be, I have no idea. None of us know. Um, and it was funny, my sons have wanted me to create a legacy map. They were creating legacy maps for themselves. And the first question was, how old are you going to live to be? And I was stymied by it, like I couldn't answer. And then I came up with an interesting answer. When I think about, I'm getting choked up, excuse me. When I think about my parents, my youngest was only 5, and my little niece, she was a couple of years younger than that. So they don't have the kind of memories that my older children have about my parents. And my nephew too, he was young too. He was William's age. And so when I think about that and I think about my own life, I decided to put this, not a number for how long I want to live, like my target for my life. I would like for any and all of my grandchildren to to be age 10 before I depart the planet. Because I think by age 10, we will have established a pretty good relationship. I would have read to them and sung to them enough and like had amazing times with them enough so that there's like really deep memories and I've been able to pass on something to them. Like that's important to me. So that's what I came up with. So that's a target for me. What do you want? Goals, dreams, visions. At first, I just used to say goals, but then I was working with someone in sales. He owned his own business and was very involved in the sales and the business development. And he goes, I hate that word goals. I have such goals thrown at me all the time. And so we kind of opened up to dreams and visions. Like, what dreams do you have for your life? And what visions do you have for your life? When I'm first working with a client, one of the first steps we do is go into this, even on the very first free call. Like, what matters to you? What do you want to see shift or change? What do you want? Honestly, sometimes people tear up a little bit and they're like, I can't tell you. Like, I don't know. I'm so stuck. Other people very clearly can state what they really want. So it's the whole continuum. It doesn't matter where we start. Sometimes I'll ask them, is it emotional? Is your target emotional? And they'll say to me, I just want to be more in control of my emotions, or I just want to feel better. I want to feel happier. I remember when a young girl I was coaching said that to me. She goes, Elle, I just need to feel happier. And that's a beautiful target. So the target might be an emotion, something you wish to feel. It may be something you want to fix in yourself. And here I encourage you to dream big. You might not even have any idea how much something could shift and change for you. So I want you to open up to possibility. I love to give a tool when I'm doing these little sessions. So the tool I have for you today that kind of goes along with this to maybe open up some bigger dreams for you or some bigger ideas for you. And it's called SWIM, SWIM. It stands for Switch Internal Mindset. So a lot of times we either have a chronic issue or disease or something going on that's been going on a long time in our lives, and we think that it could never change. It's always going to be this way. For me, one of those was the eczema all over my fingers. Like I'd had it for 35 years. It's like, no way that's ever going to change. I used every kind of cream, even cow's bag balm to try and heal it. Nothing worked, right? And so if I didn't even have that as a goal or a dream, it just happened. So now when I'm coaching people, I'm like, dream big. If you have something afflicting you, see if we can start to open up a little bit. So here's the how this tool works. Swim works like this. In the past, and I have to go kind of like in prayer hands here, like, okay, so in the past, I had horrific eczema. I'm now open to the possibility that I can be free of that and have beautiful skin. Right? So it could be something like you're struggling with something at work. So in the past, I've been really, I've had a tough time with the accounting in my business. I'm now open to the possibility that in the future, I can do this easily. So I like to use adverbs and adjectives in the future pacing statement because your body, your brain loves two things. It loves being open. Okay. It also loves descriptive words. So when you can put a little description around it, it lodges better for you. So this swim idea is also emotion. I'm now open to the possibility. You can make that motion really big if you want. If you know my work, you may know the Ferris wheel. This is that same kind of thing. It's like swimming out like this. I know that's not like really a stroke. You'd have to go like that, right? Do it any way you want. It really doesn't matter. The key point is that this is a neuroscience trick. When you make a big motion with your body that's unusual, that you don't usually do, your brain is instantly opening up some new neural pathways for you. That's one of the fastest ways you can change up a habit or a way of thinking about something. That's really what we're doing here because we get stuck in patterns thinking about certain things. I was working with a client yesterday and I mentioned that another client of mine had a frozen shoulder and they're like, oh, I have that too. I've been coaching this person for months and never knew that. And so it's like, oh, we get to work on that. So if we need to unfreeze a shoulder or fix the eczema or have less joint pain, whatever the thing is, we first need to be open to it because these thoughts, every little thought you have is an electrical impulse that affects every cell of your body. So ask yourself what you want. Like get really clear about what you want or take what you don't want and spin it, turn it around to state it in a new way about what you really do want. So that's my little training for you today. I hope you liked it. If you do, if you want to know more, please go to elleingles.com or pressure-free.com and let's have a conversation. I will just learn more about you, and you can learn more about what pressure free is all about. I wish you a great pressure free day. Bye.